Oh, and welcome back to the channel. You're back on Central Ontario Coyote Hunters, and we're about to turn on the lights here. Let's see if I can get one on. Oh, here we go. Scheduled to start at 9:15 this morning. It says I'm live now. It's 9:11. So I guess we're early. I made it early. I guess it's better to be early than late. I wait for some people to get in here. We're going to have a little chat this morning. Let you guys know what's going on in our country here, so to speak. Make sure you say hello so I know who's in here. I'm going to say it's one of three people. Oh, it's still early. It feels so early. But anyways, what I read this morning is that an 11-year-old girl got attacked by a coyote out in Alberta there. A friend of mine sent me the link and several bite marks on her or whatever, and the father grabbed her, and the coyote was still trying to pull her into the ditch. I thought we'd talk about that this morning. How do you guys feel about that? The coyote was trying to pull her into the ditch. The father had a hold of her, and while he was making his way into the car, I guess it was still trying to get at him too, and got in the car, and the coyote laid down there. Once they were all in the vehicle, the coyote laid down, pinned his ears back, watching them. So he must have been hungry. So how does that make you guys feel? Do you think that's normal behavior? Because it seems to be happening more and more. I keep hearing about coyotes attacking kids and guzzling people's dogs off the leashes and dragging them away. I seen right here, I'm not far from Peterborough, right here there was somebody's, no, actually it wasn't here. It was, there was a kid that got bit in the park here a couple winters ago. And it was funny because at the same time, a gentleman had contacted me online and asked me if I could trap some coyotes for him. He'd let his golden retrievers out on the, that invisible fence stuff. 2 big golden retrievers, and not little puppies either, like adult dogs. And the coyotes would come rushing out of the bush and put the run on his dogs. So I went, and that was just down the road from this park. Actually, I took a 9, I think it was 9 right out of his backyard. 9 of them. Anyways, they're seeing more and more. I think it was down Oshawa way. Down Oshawa way recently that they took a dog right off a leash. But I just read this morning. A friend of mine sent me the link. And in Canada, you can't post the links because they won't allow you to share news anymore. But anyways, I posted a picture there on the community part of here. It was on Global. So if you went to the Global website, I mean, even if you went to Google and typed in that coyote attacks 11-year-old or attacks child, I mean, this is recent. I believe it was, come on, help me out here. Derek, you're probably in there. Was this yesterday? I read it on the news today, so I guess I should have looked at that, shouldn't I? But actually, I got an idea here. Where is it here? Coyote attacks girl at Trans-Canada Highway rest stop in southern Alberta. Posted December 27th. On Tuesday. So that was Tuesday. Today's Friday. On Boxing Day evening, the family pulled over to a rest stop at Trans-Canada west of the hamlet of Suffield at a spot roughly 250 kilometers east of Calgary and 30 kilometers west of Medicine Hat. Quote, it just happened so fast, he came out of nowhere, said 11-year-old Haley Nyberg about her encounter with the coyote, where the animal grabbed her leg and wouldn't let go. I kicked and yelled as hard as I could. He grabbed onto my leg. I tried getting onto the garbage can, but I couldn't, and he tried dragging me into the field. Her parents managed to get Haley into the car, but the animal wasn't exactly backing down. Quote, when I grabbed her, the coyote was still trying to pull her into the ditch. Now, this is the father, said Haley's dad, Dustin Nyberg. Quote, while I was getting her to the car, he was lunging at us. As I was making my way to the driver's side of the car, he was coming at me as well. Quote, once we were in the car, he laid down outside the car with his ears pinned back, staring at us. He was on a mission. Haley was treated for 5 puncture wounds on her leg. The family said they were pleased with the care they received at Brooks Health Clinic. Brooks Health Clinic, and the quick response they got after calling the Report a Poacher hotline. I was speaking with officers this morning, Wednesday, so 2 days ago, and the problem they're having is that people are feeding the animals, and that's what's causing part of the issue. Fish and Wildlife officials told the family the roadside attack is not something they're taking lightly. They're going, quote, they're going to deal with the situation because now it's become dangerous, says Dustin. Yeah, it is dangerous. The family posted about the account on Facebook, which prompted other people to mention a coyote that's been hanging out at the rest stop. At that rest stop. Quote, we have zero confirmation that it was the same one, but there's been a coyote hanging around vehicles, said Dustin. People have seen it. It's a common thing over the last 2 weeks. He has a message for people who may have been giving snacks to the wildlife. Stop feeding the wildlife. Well, there's a saying too that says don't bite the hand that feeds you. Here's a picture of the girl's leg. Probably not going to be real clear. But yeah, that's a typical dog bite, right? You can read this article for yourself. It's posted on Global. Global News, December 27th, 6:52 p.m. So it's not the only one, though. There's kids that have been attacked. There's dogs getting ripped off their leashes and stuff here in Ontario. It's not uncommon, let's say that. Vicious attacks on people. So back in 2006, I produced a video I called Getting Even. And the reason I called it Getting Even was there's a gentleman that I'd met, and I don't think he's no longer with us. His son was attacked and killed by wolves up in Points North, Saskatchewan. And getting even was kind of like I got even with quite a few of them since then, but they attacked and killed him and ate him. And the father was really upset anyways. His mission was to go out there and kill all of them, and one little calling lesson or whatever, but that's why I called it Getting Even. But when I was doing that video, I was researching coyote attacks on people. So all I did was go on Google and say coyote attacks child, and then hit enter, right? All kinds of them come up. Coyote attacks man, coyote attacks woman, coyote attacks dog. There is tons and tons, I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And you don't hear about them. One of the ones I remembered a lot was the coyote that followed the guy carrying his kid in with the groceries right in the front door. I think this was Arizona. And right in the front door, and trying to drag his 4-year-old back outside of the house when he was putting stuff down. Arizona. I hunted Arizona back in 99 with a guy, and there's a lot of coyotes down there, but like a real big coyote was 39 pounds. I've shot 13, 14 this year so far, since November, and 2 of them, one of them was just a hair under 50. The other one was over 48. A couple of them I didn't weigh, but that's 2 of the males. So they're big coyotes. They can do some pretty bad damage, right? People say they see one and it's a wolf. It's a wolf. Well, how do you know it's a wolf? It's bigger than my German Shepherd. Well, it might look bigger, but it's probably not. But still, a 50-pound coyote. Would I be scared of one? No, I'd be a little bit nervous if I got attacked by one. 2 or 3? I don't know. That's why they made guns, to level the playing field, right? Anyways, what do you guys think? I don't see any comments coming up or anything. What are you guys thinking? How do you feel about that? You think it's just because they're feeding them, or you think it's maybe they don't like Albertans? So why do you think? I don't know who's in here. I can't tell because nobody's saying anything. But we're talking about the recent coyote attack on the girl in Alberta. Tried to drag her right into the ditch at a truck stop or a car stop or rest stop or whatever it was. What are you guys thinking? Leave me some comments. Do you guys think this is just because people are feeding them at the restaurant, dropping them treats, or usually when you drop an animal like a dog, if you give your dog a cookie or someone's dog a cookie, usually the dog's friendly, sucks up to you when it sees you. It comes up wagging its tail. It's all friendly, wants another cookie. It doesn't all of a sudden bite you because you don't have a cookie. I don't know. Maybe somebody's dog might. But what do you think of that? They're blaming it on because people are feeding them. Do you think it's because they're feeding them, or I think maybe because people are feeding the coyotes at that stop? That's why they're sticking around trying to get more food, right? Because if you feed an animal food, it keeps coming back, right? That's how you catch predators and foothold traps. I like to dirt hole set, so I'll dig a hole and I'll put scent and I'll put bait in the hole, and the coyote will come back and set a trap in front of the hole and catch a coyote. So do you think that because they're feeding it, that's why the girl got bit? Or do you think because they're feeding them, that's, people are giving them food, that's why they keep returning? But why do you think coyotes are attacking children? Do you think it's because they're hungry? Do you think because, they're just regular food to them? What's your opinions on this, guys? Have you read the article on Global, or it's probably on more than just Global, but the girl getting attacked? I know there's probably more than that one attack around. I haven't really researched or Googled it lately, but I did years ago on stuff, and there was all kinds of attacks on kids and people. People are floating in and out here, but you don't know who's in here. I don't know if I got something wrong with the comments here. Maybe nobody can comment. Oh, wait a second. There's one. Depends on age and good opportunity. Oh, yeah, that's true. Elm Street would depend on age. I mean, you mean the age of the coyote or the age of the victim? Like young coyotes are pretty stupid, right? But I guess you'd want to know how old the coyote was, or the age of the child. Yeah, this girl was 11, so I mean, she's probably not a real big kid, right? Yeah, the victim, exactly, a victim, the prey. Yeah, 11-year-old kid wouldn't be very big, but 11-year-old kid would be bigger than a rabbit or a mouse, right? 11-year-old kid would probably be bigger than a deer fawn. And the parents standing right there and at the car. Hygiene. You think a coyote only attacks kids that got bad hygiene? I don't know. You would think you would think they'd lost their fear of people, right? If the father's there with the girl and right at the car and everything, and the coyote grabs the girl and trying to grab the girl into the ditch, drag her into the ditch, right? I guess the coyote's planning on eating her. I mean, that's a pretty big, 11-year-old kid's a pretty big meal for a coyote, right? And I've seen some 11 and 12-year-old kids, like boys, that were bigger than me, and I'm 5'9" and 200 pounds. I have a friend of where I know Chris is probably going to read this or see this sooner or later if he sits through the whole thing. I don't know, but their kid call him as Noah. One time they came over here years ago. They dropped by to see me, and the kid forgot his shoes when he got in the van. So I nicknamed him Noah No Shoes. He was 13. He was taller than me and probably as heavier than me. He still gets called Noah No Shoes. That was quite a while ago. Anyways, yeah, but still, that's pretty brazen for a coyote to come out and try to drag off a kid right in front of dad, right? Usually coyotes have a fear of people. Like you see a rabbit in your yard. Like I get rabbits in my yard sometimes, and you walk out and the rabbit sees you, it runs away, right? Or I've had fox come through here too. And fox comes in your yard. If you go outside, fox runs away. You know, you see a coyote. I know guys will be driving out coyote hunting. I see a coyote out in the field and they stop. They're going to try and sneak in and shoot it, right? You stop the truck, coyote takes off, it's gone. So I guess feeding them at a truck stop would stick them around expecting food, but at the same point, you know, it's the old saying says, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." Why would you try to, if you're getting food out of somebody all the time, try to do them harm, right? But coyotes are they're a different animal. I mean, they're a wild animal. I don't trust them at all. I mean, I've seen guys that have a pet and they're petting them online and they clickbait people and say, coyote attacks man or coyote attacks dog. And then the guy's got a coyote he's obviously had since it was a puppy and it's raised it with his dogs and it's got it playing with his dogs around in the yard with a collar on. I mean, there's the odd one like that. I don't think they make a good pet. I don't recommend them as a pet to anyone. I see what they can do, and they are a wild animal, just like raccoons, right? Like I used to work with a guy. Oh, geez, that had been close to 30 years ago, and he wanted a raccoon for a pet, and I had coon dogs, and I started trapping way back then, and I got him a baby raccoon. Didn't want it because the eyes were still closed. I said, well, you don't want them when the eyes are open. Anyways, he went and got a raccoon off someone and he phoned me back like a year later and I could hear the thing chatter in the background. So he's like, how's it going? What's up? And this is, yeah, I hear it. So what's up with you? I know what you're up to. So he says, yeah, I got a raccoon or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of cool and everything. And I said, well, fatten it up and and call me late next November. And I says, and we'll pelt it out and see how much we get for that auction. That was when actually coons were worth, well, when you averaged about $20 or whatever on an auction, and you might have got a high of 35 or $40 for one, right? A big one. Anyways, calls me back. Oh, must have been probably the next year, not within a month or two. And he says, yeah, he says, you know what? You were right. I says, right about what? And he says, that raccoon, he says, when it got to about 18 months old, he said that thing got out of its cage one day in my apartment and it totally shredded everything. Tore my drapes, my curtains down, shredded my leather couch, just ripped the whole apartment apart. I had to get rid of it. It went totally nuts. Went wild, just snapped. And, you know, the guy who fed it all the time, played with it and everything. Then the one day it just went back to the wild you go. Anyways, yeah, I wouldn't trust a coyote for a pet. No. Anybody else? What do you guys think? Do you think the coyotes do you think coyotes are attacking people because, well, there's a couple opinions, right? So anybody that's normally not into hunting and trapping and killing animals or whatever and thinks that everybody should live in harmony will tell you that, oh, we've encroached on their land and it's because we're pushing them out of their homes. That's why they're seeing so many and everything else. So what do you guys think? You know, people say that you shoot one and two take its place. I've heard lots of bad math. Why do you think there's more and more attacks on people? Do you think maybe the food supply is low? Do you think maybe it's because people are feeding them and they're just getting more brazen around people? Or do you think maybe they just adapt so well to urban life You know, we were getting them in our parks and everywhere else. So need some input from you guys. I can talk to myself all day, but it's not very fun. Anyways, the more and more attacks on kids and stuff and people and living in our cities, I don't think that we're encroaching on their land. I think that like they say, when the coyote migrated across North America, it bred off of the red wolf. That's why they're saying our coyotes are big. They've always said that. Yeah, evolution, hygiene. They're not afraid of us no more. Exactly, Elm Street. They don't seem to have. They seem to lose that fear. And I'm not sure what it is, or like I have some ideas of how they lose their fear. Probably from one of them's from people feeding them. There's one fox. If you look in my trapping videos or fox videos, there's one that said it's got quite a few views, 117,000 or 18,000. And it said about coyote or a fox attacking a child or putting the run on a child or whatever. I took a fox down the road from here a couple springs ago. The farmer's son, he phones me up and says, "Hey, I had a fox come after my 3.5-year-old like twice, and we run it off, and it's just right at the house. Just come out of the farming property, approach the kid, come out right up after the kid, and toddler, little wee guy, right?" And he said they run it off. Him and his wife had to chase it off. I said, "Why don't you shoot it?" He says, "Well, I'm not a hunter. I like to shoot, but I am not good at killing animals. I'm not a hunter. So I'm calling you." Okay. So I went over and set a trap and got rid of it. And then one day I was in a local business, and the guy was in there, and he says, "Yeah, I got this fox hanging around my house." So yeah, I go out and I feed him. I fed him steak there the other night, but I haven't seen him in a couple of days. So smart mouth me, right? He says, "I haven't seen him in a couple of days." I pull up my phone and I pull up a picture of it. I says, "Is that him?" "Yeah." "Oh, it's dead." I said, "Yeah, stop feeding the animals." I said, "That fox took a run at so and so's kids down the road." It turns out he just lived like half a kilometer down the road from the farmers, eh? Yeah, not everyone shoots them, of course. A lot of guys don't shoot them. They're challenging to hunt, eh? But anyways, he was feeding the fox, so the fox lost his fear of people, was hanging around, and sees a little kid, comes after the kid. You don't know if the fox wants to play or just wants to think it's food, but a little kid like that, you don't want any canines running around, not even if it was somebody else's dog. You don't want coming up to your little kid like that. But anyways, fox is gone. Bye-bye. And he was all pissy with me for a while. Didn't want to talk to me anymore for at least for a week or two till I seen him again later, and then he talks again. But he was mad because I shot the fox. I trapped it and killed it. And well, what'd you do that for? Poor thing, And it's like, well, dummy, you shouldn't be feeding it. You're feeding it, and it's coming around. It loses its fear of people, and it's coming around. But coyotes, so I don't think that's always true with the coyote. They seem to be like a really smart dog. When I'm hunting them, I don't use any scents at all. Nothing there. Elm Street. I use a call. I got a few ways, so I'm either trapping them, calling them, and shooting them, or baiting. And baiting isn't like you're feeding them. Baiting's like you could use dog food, or you could use raw meat if you can get scraps from a butcher, or like during deer season and stuff, get guys scraps from their deer, gut piles, anything like that you could use for bait. Dead stock, kind of frown upon it, but if a coyote's coming in and he's killing sheep at a farm or whatever, don't take the sheep away. As soon as they kill them, leave the sheep out there, and there's your bait pile. Sit there and shoot the ones that are coming in that are doing the damage. Since you use scent lures when you're trapping, so if you're setting for a coyote and you're a dirt hole set, or like a flat set, like a scent hole set, Guys will put. I normally dirt hole set because I want the animal to step on like a 2-inch pan. I want him to put his one front foot, if I can, right in one small spot and step into the trap. So I'll dig that hole, a bit of a trench, and then I'll get down in there and dig a hole nice and deep, and I'll put my scent way in there just so he can't stick his nose in from the side or anywhere else. He has to come around to that only one way to get right in there. And when he gets into there, and that low spot there is where your trap's bedded. So that low spot, when they start to get down into the hole to stick his nose down there, you want them. Watch a dog when they go to pick up something off the ground or sniff on something on the ground. They put that front foot down and they lean over it to sniff it or to pick it up off the ground. That's where your trap's bedded, right there, because you want him to put his foot right there. But yeah, so my scent would be down that hole. Not my scent, but usually I'll use like raw meat. I used to just chop up chunks of freezer burnt meat, venison or whatever I had, if it got freezer burned over the time. When I used to use paper to wrap, but you could use leftover rotisserie chicken scraps. You could put a bit of dog food down there. You can mix, the rotisserie chickens you buy, if you ever get one for dinner, or even if you roast your own chicken, a lot of people won't eat the skin, right? Well, it's delicious, but it's probably not good for you anyway. But a little bit of skin and the bones and the scraps or whatever's left over off that chicken that you've cooked, I'll keep that. I'll put it in little freezer bags. I'll stick it in my freezer. And if I get a call to do a nuisance job or something, that's my go-to. I mean, that has such a nice smell. And I'll use that. I'll mix it with a bit of dog food, or I'll buy baits and lures too off one of my trapping supply guys, and I'll get I'm not sure exactly everything that's in them, but it's probably mouse or some type of meat. A lot of guys will use beaver. I mean, beaver meat works great, but you can grind it up or chop it all up. They put glycerin in it so it doesn't freeze, and a lot of it has skunk in it. Almost every single lure you buy or every bait you buy, you take that lid off, you're going to smell skunk. You're going to smell skanky, dirty meat skunk. Not the skunk meat, but they'll put the scent, the gland, put some of the scent into the lure so that it smell it for a long ways off. And the glycerin stops it from freezing, right? Because when we trap up here, it's below zero. Everything's froze up. We're in a mild spot now. It's been raining for 3 days. And I got the spot I took the 2 coyotes off. My friend, we didn't think there's anything in it. We just took a drive up there to check the traps, and we were going to call, and took the 22 250s, and I'm going to go in there and see if I can call him in a coyote. And had one coyote, one trap, and one in the other, and he had a 20 gauge with him. And I said, okay, just shoot the thing in the head with birdshot. Anyways, it hasn't been nothing back. Deer, we've had deer back checking out the smell and everything. It's crazy. And there was 3 deer there last night, and then there was a coyote there later last night and early this morning. So I might run up there today and just to check and make sure those traps, the deer didn't set them off or something, because sometimes the deer will step on it, but they'll just slide their hoof right out of them. Yeah, but that's where you put your scents, down the hole or in a backing. You could take pure skunk essence, like they have. It's almost like a Vaseline, and it's it'll burn your nose hairs right out, right? My wife, when she comes with me, she'll be out there, right? She'll be watching me do the sets and everything, and she'll be standing there. And as soon as I pull the lid back on the bait box, she starts to walk away. And where are you going? I'm waiting in the truck. Why? It smells. Anyways, you could take you can put a backing behind the hole, like the one where I just caught the 2. One I set at the edge of the field. I just looked for a spot where there was like a natural scrub around it, and then I did my dirt hole set there. And then the other one, I did it into the field a little bit, like into the cut cornfield, and I just took my foot and I just piled all the the scrub and the corn stalk and everything that was all chopped up on the ground, and I just kind of pushed it all back into a pile, and then I did my dirt hole set down and under that, and had one coyote in one and one in the other. And you take those if you like ice creams, you know, with the little sticks on them or popsicles. My wife buys those Kit Kat ones, right? The ice cream ones. And at first I was going, I'll stop buying that. I don't want to get fat. I'm trying to keep my weight down because I'm hunting and I'm working and trapping and everything else. And I'm not a sweet eater anyways. And then I was saying, don't buy that stuff, right? Well, I got thinking about it. And then my trapping mind kicked in. I said, you know what? Those bars aren't so bad. So yeah, I'd be eating them, right? And then you got that wooden stick. I'm like, save that. I'd keep one of the wrappers from the the bars, right? And I'd cut off the end ever so carefully. And I'd start saving all the ice cream bar sticks, and you use that for your bait. So you take one of those to put your bait down the hole, right? Then you can leave it in your box to use one real good or whatever. And it doesn't matter if you mix the scents a bit. And then you could take one and put a gob of that skunk on it. And you can either smear it on a corn stalk or something, or you can just tuck it underneath, slide it underneath the corn stuff. Because that smell is going to carry for miles, right? That's going to attract foxes and coyotes for a long time. That's where I use scent. If you're not getting, they say set on sign, but if you're not getting a lot of traffic by your set there, I mean, if you're not right on the beaten path of where they're traveling every night or every few nights, you put some skunk, put a big smear of skunk there. You'll attract every fox and coyote for 10 miles. Stuff smells, it carries. Anyways, back to this child attack thing. So you think that maybe they're just in general, because they're that smart, they're losing their fear of man? Because they are pretty smart. They learn pretty quick. But like anything, like dogs, you've got smart ones and you've got unsmart ones, not so smart, dumb ones, right? Just like people. There's some coyotes, you could call that coyote in now and you could shoot at it 6 times. It would run down the field. You could wait 5 seconds and blow on a call again, and he'll come right back. And then there's some coyotes, you call them in, take a shot at them, and you miss them, you won't see them again for the rest of your life. So there is smart ones and there's dumb ones. So you got coyotes hanging around because people are feeding them, obviously. Or sometimes it's just because where there's food. Around here, I used to say that because years ago I used to shoot a lot of groundhogs out here. And now you don't see any. Never see them in years. And you don't see rabbits anymore. The deer herd's like gone right down. I used to say that when the coyotes eat everything outside the city, then they're going to move into the city because there's lots of squirrels, rabbits, chipmunks, mice, apparently rats now too in town. So if they eat everything outside of town where they normally run, and they mark their territories and that, right, farmlands and stuff, and there's not much game for them, they're going to wander into the city, wander in the north end of the city here, south end from the other way, west end, wherever. I mean, they're going to wander in. There's tons of squirrels running around. There's squirrels everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And then all it takes, well, it doesn't even take that. It could be garbage night, and people even putting their garbage out, and just maybe in bags, right? Raccoons are famous for ripping open garbage bags. Thank you. And ripping open garbage bags and helping themselves to garbage. So I think it's Peterborough. They have a new bylaw now that you're not allowed to put your garbage in a container anymore. You're supposed to put it in plastic bags and just leave out the bags, right? You're not allowed to put food waste in them or something too. But you can't put them in a garbage can anymore, which is everybody I've talked to said it's the dumbest thing they've ever heard. You've got lots of wildlife in town. I mean, skunks. I've seen skunks in town. I've seen fox in town. I've seen a coyote in town like 30 years ago, early 90s. A guy worked nights with it in a grocery store, like 2 lifetimes ago kind of thing. And he was coming into work one night on his bicycle, said there's a coyote running right down the sidewalk. But you're seeing them more and more now, but I think they've been adapting for a long time. Yeah, so they come in and there's no food out here. They go in, get a snack in town. There's lots of squirrels and rabbits running around. I'm not in the city. I'm out in a small town, which is nice, but we get them in here. But we don't get many coyotes around in our backyards. Probably because they're usually on someone's head. It's like if you're trapping them and keeping their numbers down, you don't get that, right? Because I'm seeing it here. I'm right on the edge of farmland. I mean, backing into farm. And I've caught 2 or 3 fox in my backyard because we have a big garden, right? So there's a big garden out here. And I was catching squirrels in my live trap out here. And, but there's nothing for them to eat here. Nothing. Maybe my dog got old. My dog's gone now. He died a week ago, just over a week before Christmas. Anyways, there's really nothing in here for them to eat, but I was still getting fox in my backyard, not coyotes though, because I'm trapping them and shooting them around here. 2 years ago, I killed 70 and 9 fox. Last year, it was 58 and 5. Around here, I did 4 for a guy last week. On this side of the lake, they were in and out of his barn. His daughter wanted to see the cats at night. So he had put up a trail camera in and out of his barn. And he sends me this picture. Well, how can you do this? There's like this big coyote. It's in and out of my barn. Do you set a trap in there? I said, yeah, I'm going to catch your cats. If I do that, it's going to be your cats, maybe a raccoon if there's a raccoon around, but probably not going to, you can't dirt hole set in a barn. And there's no good trying to close it off and hang a snare there or anything like that because it just doesn't work. I said, I'll come over and I'll call them in tonight. I went over and called them in, shot 2 the first time, went back over, shot 2 more the next day. It's like I could still hear more of them howling, but around over here, I mean, most of those big numbers were from coyotes around here. A couple of them from trapping jobs a little ways from here and that, but and then the 2 were across the lake this year. And then a little bit west, 15 minutes west. So yeah, still on the other side of the lake. I took 6 fox out of a guy's backyard and 2 coyotes. There's probably there should be 2 more coyotes around, but they never did come back. And he says he's going to call me in the new year if they come back, which is fine. I'll help the guy out. But if you keep their numbers down, like so, the one where I just took the 2 coyotes, there was 3 deer there last night. There was a couple of bucks there a week ago. There was 3 deer there last night. I think there was a coyote early this morning there. It's hard to tell with the picture, but it looks like there might be a coyote back. That's why I'm going to go check that set when I'm done on here, when I find out what's going on. I got someone coming over to get my old boy's dog houses, but yeah, that place across the lake where I took the 2. Yeah, I do charge actually. Where I took the 2, there's jackrabbits there. You go down there at dusk or early in the morning, there's all these big jackrabbits running around now. And used to see them there years ago. We used to hunt them out there, go out and hunt jackrabbits. These big, huge things. You think you're shooting a small dog. And they've been gone for years. And there was this one old one hanging around up at the house before. And we had a trail camera up there, and you'd see this big old jackrabbit near hanging down on them and everything. Every once in a while at night, you'd see him go by the camera and then come back the other way after a while. And now you go out there and you could see probably 7, 8, 9 jackrabbits at a time. So if you're killing coyotes, you're doing everything a favor. I mean, they will wipe out, and they do wipe out everything. I mean, like I said, no jackrabbits out there for years. You might see the odd cottontail, but I'll tell you, it's like just nothingness. absolutely nothingness. So anyways, I'm trying to pull my weight around here. Anyways, if you if you keep their numbers down, you won't get these attacks on kids and stuff. You won't. It's like I said, like 2 winters ago, I took 9 out of a guy's backyard in the North End. No, I've never ate coyote, but a buddy of mine named Ryan, he's ate coyote and fox. He made coyote jalapeno poppers. I think it was year before last, and he sat there and he eats a lot of bear and deer and moose. He's like me. He loves to hunt, and he's always eating wild meat. I don't think the guy ever goes to the grocery store. He was eating coyote poppers, and he was on there. Oh yeah, he's still alive. There's nothing wrong with it. You just got to cook it well done, so you kill all the parasites in it. But bear is the same. Anyway, so he was on there, coyote poppers, making this video. I swear it was just to gross people out, right? And he says, I wish I had some more. Well, don't ever say that when I'm around, right? I'm like, I got 2 coyotes out there. I'm just skinning right now. I says, come on over and get some. So he phones me up and he says, can you cut the hock or the hind quarter off the back or off the back of the hips or whatever and bag them up for me or whatever? I said, look, man, I says, you're the one who wants to eat coyote. Okay, I prefer venison. You want them, you come over here and get them. I don't know exactly what you want. He said, well, don't leave them in the dirt or anything. I said, well, there's no dirt. It's cold, right? I said, yep, come on over. And I didn't think he would. I was 100% sure he would not show up here. And sure enough, here comes Brian, backs his truck up the driveway. Oh, hey, Bob. I go, oh, how's it going? Good. Right there. Oh, I just got to get my knife out here. And he's got a couple plastic bags and he cuts the meat off and then the bags. Thanks. Next thing you know, back online. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Bob. I'm really enjoying eating this coyote. I'm just like, oh. Next thing you know, it's a fox. And then last year, I'm like, I got some more coyote for you there, buddy, on his feed with a lot of people following him on there, right? On Facebook. I got some more coyote for you there. Didn't comment, right? Just like laughed at my comment, messages me. No, I think I'm good for now. I got lots of moose, deer, and bear right now. I think we'll pass for now. Oh, come on, you sure? I said, well, I'll tell you what. I told him this year, I was over at his place, and I says, you got to come over here. We're going to get some coyote. We're going to do some on the smoker. We're going to do it live. As we're going to cut it off so nobody thinks that we're lying, and we're going to put it on the smoker, and we're going to sit here and have a beer, and we're going to smoke this stuff, and then we're going to eat it for the viewers. He's like, that sounds like a good idea. Now it's just a matter of finding time because there's no problem finding a fresh coyote. But anyways, Elm Street, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. You can come over here and you're oh, wait a minute, you're smoking a venison shoulder now? Send me the address. I'll be over. I did that too. I threw a whole front shoulder in one time. Was it ever good? A buddy of mine was up from the States. Oh, you're in Kansas? You should be out there killing coyotes right now. I heard you guys are like overrun with dogs down there. I think if you keep the numbers down in your area, then you're going to see more small game for sure. And you're not going to get kids getting bit up. And for all the city it's out there, I mean, sorry if you get offended if you're from the city, but if you're feeding coyotes and you live in the city, you are a cityite. Yes, I know. I usually go to them down in Michigan. Kansas is a little far for me to drive, but one of my friends, I've been friends with him for 25 years. I've hunted down there at night for 25 years. And the weekends that this guy Eric Tremblay has some down in the West End, and the weekends he's having them, I'm working. And I'm on like a compressed work weekend so like for me to get down there that weekend, I'd have to book off like 48 hours. That'd be like over a week's holidays to do a 2-night hunt. It's too bad he didn't have. Too bad they weren't on my drop weeks. I'd be down there for sure. Giant beef processing plants. Yeah, I know the Lucky Duck boys there. What's his name? Rick Pallet, that does the sounds for Lucky Duck. Him and I keep forgetting the other guy's name there. They hunt Kansas a lot, I think. I think there's a ton of coyotes, and you guys got you can use thermal down there now too, eh? Which is good. Thermal, I mean, that's the best thing. That's got to be the safest way to hunt coyotes or anything else. I mean, you go down Michigan, we hunt with them down there, and you can see everything for miles, like everything for miles. I got a monocular too, and I'm hunting in that. And you're walking in your stand. I don't even use a flashlight anymore. I just look, see where I'm going, and just start walking. Don't even turn on a light. Lots of calves, yeah. But yeah, that's just safest thing. You can see everything. You can see everything, and so you get good stuff. I mean, you can ID stuff like easily. I ID a raccoon at 1,000 yards. But yeah, I got to get. We were talking about hunting Kansas this year. We were talking about it. I got my drop weeks. I got a week off every month. One of these days, I'm going to get down there. Could probably fill up a bit of a pickup truck, but I think Kansas for him from Michigan, I think he said he was more than 8 hours, 8 or 10 hours or more. I don't know where are you? Like Kansas is how far from say west end of Michigan, say from Muskegon, because Muskegon for me is about 8 hours. So that's like kind of like 2 days drive. Wow. Ads will run shortly for some viewers in 42 seconds. Anyways, I want to go hunt some. I'm off now for 4 days. I should be out there right now. Yeah, it is far. I mean, that's almost somewhere you should just fly, right? Instead of driving. Because if I'm coming down by myself. My wife's not going to come down there. She's working, and she ain't going to want to, take time off to go coyote hunting. Well, she used to go hunting with me everywhere. Everywhere I went, she had to go. She loves it, but yeah, yes to Denver or Wichita. It'd be a long drive. It'd probably be a 2-day drive, right? 2 days back. So there's 4 days. If you got a week off, you only got 3 days to hunt, and then you're tired when you get home. So I don't know if I could win the lottery. If I could win the lottery, that's it. Buy a lottery ticket. Yeah, if I could win the lottery or somehow become a very rich person, I don't think I'd be home a lot. I think I'd be, yeah, I'd have to. I don't think I'd be home a lot. I'd be hunting a lot of the states down there. I've got the permits to take my firearms over and stuff because I was planning on hunting some tournaments this winter. But it seems to me that all the tournaments are when I'm working. Now, it depends, though, what happens with my job if I end up going to a Monday to Friday thing. If I did that, then I just have to book a day off on the Friday, right? Then you'd drive. I could do the Michigan hunts anyways. Drive down there, hunt all night Friday night, and then you're definitely sleeping all day Saturday, and then hunt the Saturday night. Do your weigh-ins and stuff, right? Sleep for a few hours Sunday morning, leave at noon, be home by 8 o'clock at night, go back to bed, get up at 5 o'clock and go into work. That's doable. That's doable even for an old guy. But yeah, win the lottery, right? And just hunt tournaments all winter long. Maybe come home once in a while, make sure the pipes haven't froze. And maybe when I retire, that's it. That's my retirement thing. My retirement gift to me is to hunt every tournament I can find in the States. Every tournament I can find, one winner in the U.S. every weekend tournament. What do you think? I'm going to need a gun caddy. Going to need a driver and a gun caddy and a hunting partner. It's not going to be for 7 years. I don't know. Maybe I'll be too old by then. See, you should always, okay, the rule for old guys. Oh, okay. So, got to go. Got an important call. I will be back over. Sorry, guys. I got to beat it.